Good morning and welcome to the annual meeting of the League of Women Voters Eden Area. We're happy to have you here to participate in the important work of the association. I'd like to start by introducing your committed and hardworking board of directors. Well, please raise your hand when I call your name. Treasurer, Mary Ellen Faria. Janice Friesen. Secretary, Marion Hanna. Penny Peck. Rana Gonzalez. Christy Wirtz. Christy's son is getting married today, and she thought that was a good excuse to miss the meeting. So I guess we'll let her miss the meeting. Grace Carter. Pat Payne. April Chan. Vice President Roxanne Lewis. Mimi Dean. And Iwa Zielinski. Has become the norm, we're conducting this meeting virtually, and we hope that everyone takes advantage of the opportunity to participate. Again, please use the chat function at the bottom of the screen to communicate with hosts if you have any questions or comments. We're going to move to door prize number 1. I don't know if people can see my screen, I hope. Our first door prize today is a package of the new M&Ms highlighting women. The new female M&M characters, and only them, are featured on and inside the new packs for their Flipping the Status Quo campaign. The limited edition packaging is designed to honor women changing the world and flipping antiquated gender roles and ideas. Our winner is the first non-board member to sign on this morning. And I'm going to embarrass her because Sarah thought we were meeting at 9 and she signed on at 8:55. So Sarah, you're the winner of the M&Ms. Yay. We move on. Item 2, appointment of the parliamentarian. It's my pleasure to appoint Grace Carter as parliamentarian for this meeting. Thank you, Grace. Item 3, credentials report for quorum. Marion Hanna, I will ask the secretary for the credentials report.
Thank you, Joe. The meeting requires a quorum of 10% of the members present. A quorum shall be 8 members, and currently there are 17 members present. We do have a quorum.
Thank you, Marion. Given that we have reached the required quorum, I now open the June 3rd, 2023 annual meeting of the League of Women Voters Eden Area. And I want to note that we have our league coach visiting today. Good morning, Bonnie. We move to item 4, adoption of the order of business. Pat.
I move the adoption of the agenda as presented with such changes as deemed necessary.
Thank you, Pat. Is there a second to the motion? I see Iwa's hand. Thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, although I will call for a vote on the adoption of the order of business. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? Thank you. All opposed, raise your hand. The motion is adopted. And we move to item 5. I don't see Rana here, so I am going to share the screen on rules of the day. And Penny, I'm going to ask you to please make the motion. Penny?
I move I move to approve the rules of the day.
Thank you, Penny. The rules are posted. I'm going to stop sharing so that we can vote. Is there a second to Penny's motion? I see Carolyn's hand. Thank you, Carolyn. Is there anyone who needs the rules read? Seeing no hands, I'm going to call for a vote on the adoption of the proposed rules of the day. All in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. All opposed, please raise your hand. The motion is adopted. And we move to, are you ready? Door prize number 2. Door prize number 2 is a script for a play entitled Women's Suffrage by Dorothy Sugarman. This one goes to, and I'm going to look at participants because it's number 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Linda Slater, this is yours. I will send it to you. I have to write it down so I don't forget. So we're on item 6, action of the minutes of the 2022 annual meeting. Marion.
Thank you, Joe. The committee of Mark Norberg, Roxanne Lewis, and Penny Peck have reviewed the minutes of the annual meeting on June 11, 2022, and recommend adoption. A motion by the committee does not require a second.
Thank you, Marion, Mark, Roxanne, and Penny. The motion on the floor is to approve the minutes of the June 11th, 2022 annual meeting as published in the April Voter. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote on the motion. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. All opposed, raise your hand. The motion is adopted. Item 7, appointment of committee to review the 2023 annual meeting minutes. I will appoint Sarah Lambden, Mary Ellen Faria, and Iowa Zelensky to review the minutes of the 2023 annual meeting. Thank you for serving. You guys are going to be really glad you came because we're going to have another door prize. Door prize number 3 is the book by Diana Levy and a biography of one of my sheroes. It entitled I Dissent. Ruth Bader Ginsburg makes her mark. This prize has been captured by participant number 8. So I'm going to look at the participant list. 1. Let's see, we have to go to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Janice Friesen, this is coming to you.
Thank you.
All right. We move now to item number 8, which is the financial report for 22-23. Mary Ellen.
Good morning. Thank you, Joe. The League of Women Voters Eden area has an income deficit of $5,298.52 for fiscal year 2022 to 2023 as of May 26, 2023. This deficit is primarily due to a decrease in income from membership dues and the inability to hold in-person fundraisers. Total expenses for fiscal year 2022 to 2023 were at $8,800 $29.42 as of May 26, 2023. They are $2,147.58 below the 2022-2023 budget projection of $10,977. The League of Women Voters has a current bank balance of $44,699.39 as of May 31st, 2023. I believe the board has exercised financial responsibility in utilizing funds this year.
Are there any questions? This was published in the voter, April voter. And Linda, I see your hand. Linda.
Mary Ellen, I did have a question. And could you tell me what the prudent reserve is for the league?
That
That's
is
the-
our total amount that we have in our account. It's we are going to be looking at alternatives, and it will be presented soon to do some specific things with the money that we have in our checking account.
Okay, thank you, Mary Ellen. Any other questions? I want to make sure you have time, but I think I have everybody on my screen. Okay, thank you, Mary Ellen. We'll move to item number 9, which is our proposed 23-24 budget. Item number 1 is the consideration of the proposed dues increase. Pat?
As part of our affiliation with the League of Women Voters United States, the League of Women Voters California, and League of Women Voters Bay Area, our league pays forward part of each member's dues. This is called PMP. In 2022-23, our PMP payment was $63 per member. The membership dues currently is $70 and $30 for additional household member. $7 remains with League of Women Voters of the Eden area after PMP. The league plans to continue offering no-cost membership to individuals with financial restraints. The remaining balance has been determined to not be sufficient for the development of a robust budget for 2023 and 2024. The league plans to dramatically increase membership and return to frequent events and activities that were curtailed by COVID during 2023 and 2024. We hope to host many more in-person events, which will require additional resources. In 2022, the league applied for and received 501c3 status from the IRS. League of Women Voters of the Eden area is exploring other fundraising ideas and opportunities to maintain the organization's financial health and viability.
Are there any questions? This is usually an item that folks like to talk about, so I want to make sure there's a good opportunity. Linda?
Yes, since I hadn't been participating in the discussion, what is the dues increase amount?
It's $10 for, it would move the regular member dues to $80 and the additional household member dues to $40. And that would allow the league to retain $17 instead of
That's my
$7.
follow-up question. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Pat.
So Joe,
You have
What-
a-
is
go
this
ahead.
is this in line with other leagues? Or
Yes.
local league?
And I particularly would like to note the line that Pat did, that we will continue our tradition of offering membership to individuals that indicate that they have financial restraints. We've done that for a long time.
Mhm.
Iowa?
Oh, I just wondered if we also has that for the student.
Our student rate is 0 and will continue to be 0.
Yeah, so that would be nice if we just put it there as well. Thanks.
There is no cost for student members, youth and student members. Okay, looking for additional hands. I don't see any. Okay, so Pat has a motion.
The budget team moves with the Board of Directors concurring to increase the League of Women Voters of the Eden area dues by $10.
Thank you, Pat. The motion on the floor is to increase the League of Women Voters Eden area dues by $10. Is there any discussion? This is discussion versus questions. Okay, hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. All opposed, please raise your hand. Okay, the motion is adopted. We'll now take action on item 2, the proposed 23-24 budget. The proposed 23-24 budget was built with the following assumptions. Item 1, approval of the membership by the membership of a $10 dues increase. Item 2, increase in membership from 78 to 117. Item 3, placing $25,000 in a 12-month CD at a 4% interest rate. Item 4, increasing donations by leveraging the new 501c3 status. And item 5, the holiday event will have a $20 a person charge and the auction will raise $1,000. The expenditures in the budget are divided into external and local expenses. The external expenses are required, but there is flexibility with the local expenses. The bottom line of this budget reflects a transfer from the reserve. While this is not a sustainable process, the team sees this transfer as a step to move the League of Women Voters Eden area forward. We believe that this budget makes our priorities clear: to expand our brand, to engage new members, and to become a leading force in our local communities. Mary Ellen?
The budget team moves with the Board of Directors concurring to approve the proposed budget of the 2023-2024 fiscal year.
Thank you, Mary Ellen. The motion to approve the proposed budget has been published in the voter and does not need a second. So is there any discussion? And I'm going to wait the, whatever it is, educator 60 seconds or something to make sure that people have an opportunity to raise their hands.
Joe,
Linda, and then Janice, I see you. Linda?
I think Janice was before me, but I'll ask the question too. So 25,000 of the 44,000 that you have in your prudent reserve will go to a CD. How much, what is the amount that will be transferred to cover any deficit in the budget?
At this point, we anticipate $5,000. Janice? You're muted. Janice, you need to unmute. Janice, you need to unmute. We can't hear you. And then Linda, I see your hand is up too.
Okay, I
There
thought
you
I
go.
was unmuted.
Janice.
Down on the bottom is a name, WINIG, and there's been a hand attached to it for a while, which now
Oh, I'm
isn't
sorry.
there.
Okay. I will call on that. Thank you. WINIG, you have your hand up. I apologize. Okay, we'll move on. Linda, good morning.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, everyone. On the CD, did you say what the length of time was on that?
On the CD,
Yes.
the budget was built on a 12-month CD.
Okay.
At this point, the board is looking at I believe it is a 6-month CD at Mary Ellen at a better interest rate. So there's two things going on. There's building the budget, and then there's actually looking for a better interest rate. And
Okay.
so right now, I don't know, Mary Ellen, I don't want to put you on the spot, but it was 6 months at
Correct.
Do-
I
do
believe
you-
at 4.5%.
4.5%. So again, it's two different things. If we can find a better rate, we will put the money in a better rate.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Okay. Are there any other questions on the budget? Okay, seeing none, the motion on the floor is to approve the 23-24 budget as proposed. All in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. And all opposed, please raise your hand. The motion is adopted. Thank you. And thank you, Pat and Mary Ellen, for serving on the budget team. You ready for door prize number 4? Door prize number 4 is another big bag of shareable M&Ms highlighting female characters. The winner of this door prize is participant number 20. So I'm going to go to participants and count down. Well, now I have to start over again. I lost my place. Okay. It's funny, you all know that I can count to 20, right? Penny Peck. Penny, I will bring those by to you. Okay. So item number 10 is a voter registration report. Our team leads are Marion Hanna and Mimi Dean. Marion.
Thanks, Joe. The voter registration teams facilitated registration events at 3 local high schools and registered 100+ students. So 2 groups at Castro Valley High School held voter registration events. League of Women Voters Eden area provided the groups with voter registration forms. I registered stickers, pens, online voter registration cards, a register to vote sign, and a demonstration size voter registration form. Members of the Activism Club at Castro Valley developed and held in-class presentations to the junior social studies classes. And they had done presentations before, so they were confident they could carry the presentations off without additional assistance. So it was minimal assistance from the league. They did their presentations on Friday, May 12th, and The presentations went well and they registered, they said, a lot of students. The second group at Castro Valley High School was the Model UN, and they held lunchtime voter registration in the quad the week of May 15th and registered 7 students. At Arroyo, Penny Peck took the lead in assisting Arroyo High student Louis Durla on an all online registration event on May 15th through 17th, and about 20 students were registered online. It was an in-person event, but the registrations themselves were done online. Tennyson High School held an all-day event on May 30th for seniors in the government econ classes. Several student volunteers also assisted with the presentations and registration. And during 6 class periods, 81 students were registered. I want to thank all the members who offered to volunteer for this event, and special thanks to League members Linda Slater and Sarah Lamnin for volunteering their time for the Tennyson event.
Thank you, Mary and Mimi, for acting as the leads in voter registration. This is an exciting time, and you have captured over 100 youth voter registrations, so congratulations. We're going to take a short break and have a history lesson now. Everybody watch the short video on your screen.
Hello, I'm Ranger Susan from the Belmont Paul Women's Equality National Monument, home of the National Women's Party, founded by Alice Paul. Alice Paul and the NWP were good at grabbing headlines in their fight for the right to vote for women, but they were always a small part of the women's suffrage movement. At the time, there was a much larger and better funded organization, the National American Women's Suffrage Association, or NAWSA, led by Carrie Chapman Catt. Alice Paul and Carrie Chapman Catt did not care for each other. Although they shared the goal of winning the vote for women, they each thought the other one was going about it the wrong way. And so there was a lot of tension. They would get together sometimes to try and work out their differences and find a way forward together. And during one meeting that was going particularly badly, Carrie Chapman Catt stood up in the middle of it, pointed her finger at Alice Paul and said, "I will fight you to the last ditch."
So there's our short history lesson on the 2 parties behind the suffrage movement. We're at item number 11, which is the president's report. Wow, how to sum up 22-23? It was quite a year for the League. Building on last year's successful programming of insights into local government and the history of women in the Eden area, we hosted a viewing of California Women Win the Vote. California was an early state in recognizing women voters. Thinking of new ways to engage voters resulted in a Pizza and Propositions in the Park event. We hosted an Alameda County event, Roe v. Wade 2022 and beyond, featuring speakers from Planned Parenthood and the California Coalition for Reproductive Freedom that saw almost 200 registrations. Our biannual Meet the Elected event saw more than 30 local elected officials gather to share their perspectives with our community. 2023 was an incredibly busy election season. Our Voters Edge team continued their winning ways in hosting an incredible number of candidates' resumes. Eden area was also instrumental and involved in working with the Alameda Council of the League of Women Voters, where all 6 leagues cooperated in hosting candidate forums. We were involved in 25 forums, some countywide, some local, and some where we just worked to assist other leagues. Even on Zoom, this took a superhuman effort, and your league smashed it. I was so proud to hear from the community members and candidates how much they appreciated seeing and hearing from the candidates within a fair and balanced environment. Plus, there were so many views on our YouTube channel. I was astounded. This is one of the most valuable services that we can provide for our community. Each year, the national and California leagues request the local leagues to submit priorities for the future. The League of Women Voters Eden area met and submitted 3 ideas. The top 3 items selected by our membership are equity and inclusion of league membership. 2, anti-racism legislation. And item 3, frivolous recall elections and propositions. You might have seen us at the San Leandro Farmers Market, the Castro Valley Fall Festival, the San Lorenzo Library, the Castro Valley Library, Eden Church's Spring Fiesta, Trunk and Treat, the Rotary Royal Ranch event, or even in the Royal Ranch Rodeo Parade, where we won 2nd place, by the way. All of these were opportunities to reach new audiences and inform people of the mission of the League of Women Voters. Next year, we plan to be everywhere, and we need your help. Volunteers are the lifeline of the League, and you're needed to help us tell our story. In the coming months, the League of Women Voters Eden area will be at Juneteenth and the All-American Festival in Hayward, and Pride and the Fall Festival in Castro Valley. Check your voter for times and volunteer. Our voter also provided opportunities for members to participate in League of Women Voters throughout the Bay Area, California, and the nation. There were articles on equity in the Bay Area, wildfire mitigation, redistricting, climate change, water issues, and dozens of other important subjects. I hope that members took advantage of the vast network of experts the leagues work with. There were challenges this year as well. The league experienced a substantial drop in membership, resulting in a serious income deficit. Fundraising was curtailed by the pandemic as well, and our budget was not as balanced as we hoped. This will be a top priority for next year. I hope that you will renew your membership and ask a friend or a couple of friends to join the league. Our transition to a Club Express website was not without its bumps. This is a very powerful membership tool, but we need to harness that power with knowledgeable use. Currently, we're struggling to navigate it effectively. 23-24 looks to be a year of growth in membership and skills for the league. Again, we plan to be everywhere. You have a team of smart, committed, and passionate advocates on the board of directors that are going to make a difference for our community. The best thing that could happen for the League of Women Voters Eden area is to have you join us as we work to defend democracy and educate voters. Thank you, and we get to move on to door prize number 5. Door prize number 5 is a keychain from the League of Women Voters National Convention. And this one, you can see it in the front of the picture. It is engraved, People, Power, Fair Maps. You know, if Sarah hadn't already won one, I would have given this to her. But today I'm going to recognize our league coach and Bonnie. This door prize will be mailed to you. Thank you for being here today. We are now going to take action on the election with the nominating team. Janice, as lead on the nominating team, will you present your report?
I would be happy to. The nominating committee has engaged and recruited an excellent slate of officers and board members with a combination of new and seasoned members. The membership received our report in the voter.
Thank you, Janice, Sarah, and Iowa. The officer positions, item 1. Mary Ellen Faria has been nominated for treasurer for 23-25. Are there any nominations from the floor? Sarah Lambden has been nominated for vice president. Are there any nominations from the floor? And no, you two cannot not nominate. That doesn't work that way. Okay, I don't see any hands up. So hearing none, we will move to the election. Since this is a single slate, we will vote for both positions at once. Sarah Lambden has been nominated for vice president, and Mary Ellen Faria has been nominated for treasurer. All in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. All opposed, please raise your hand. The motion has been adopted, and Mary Ellen and Sarah have been elected. We move to item number 2, action on the election of the 23-24 board. The directors listed in your membership kit have been nominated to serve on the board of the directors for the coming year. Would you please wave when I call your name? Janice Friesen. Rana Jajala Gonzalez. Rana isn't here, I guess. Pat Payne. Iowa Zelensky. Christy Wirtz. Christy's at that wedding again. Melissa Allen. Melissa's at a family graduation. Tina Sachs. Roxanne Lewis. Linda Foster. And Helen Ruat. We will now conduct the election of directors. Are there any nominations from the floor? Seeing none, I'll move forward with the vote on the full slate of nominees. All in favor of electing the slate of directors, please raise your hand. Thank you. All opposed, please raise your hand. The directors have been elected. Thank you all for taking on these positions to guide the League of Women Voters Eden area. Here are the working teams of the League of the Women Voters Eden area. We'll be making decisions on the directors that will be heading each team. Member participation on these teams is critical for getting the work done, and the most effective way you, as a member of the League of Women Voters Eden area, can help further our mission. Please contact us at League of Women Voters Eden Area, LWVEA57@gmail.com if you'd like to volunteer for a team, or if you just want more information about potentially serving on a team. Program planning, voter services, that includes the candidate forums, voter education, that includes pro and con presentations, voter registration, youth education, and voter registration, Voters Edge, membership outreach, fundraising, voter publication, public outreach and publicity, budget and finance, local positions, nominating, and the bylaws committee. We hope you'll consider joining the board of directors as a member of these teams. We're up to item number 14, which is the charge to the 23-24 board and swearing in. We are continuing our tradition of asking one of our members who has taken on a leadership position in the community to present the charge and to swear in the board of directors. Today, it is the president of the American Association of University Women, Hayward Castro Valley, Linda Slater. Thank you for joining us. Linda.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much for asking me to participate in this event today and the honor of swearing in the new board for 2022-2023. I will first read the charge. People associate the League of Women Voters with its commitment to promote civic engagement and defend democracy. As a nonpartisan grassroots organization, this work has always been important, especially when we see threats to our democracy escalate across the country. But really, what inspires me is the League's ability to stay relevant in our current times, prioritizing civic engagement and fighting to ensure equity and inclusion across all of our efforts ensures continued relevance in our work. My charge to you today is to secure the legacy of making democracy work while continuing to engage our communities and shaping our work to respond to the needs of future generations. I would like everyone on the new board to please raise your hand and repeat after me. I. You can unmute yourself, please. I state your name.
Ellen Faria.
Do pledge to honor the mission,
Do pledge to honor the mission,
vision,
Vision
and values of the League of Women Voters.
and values of the
Values
League
of
of
the League
Women
of
Voters.
Women
voters.
As a board member of the League of Women Voters of the Eden area,
As a
As a
board
board
member of the
member
League
of
of
the
Women
Women
Voters
Voters
of the Eden area,
I will work to register,
I
will
will
work
work
to
to
register,
register,
empower,
empower,
and educate the citizens of my community.
and
and
educate
educate the
Citizens of my
community.
I am committing to working for the right of every citizen to vote.
I am committing to work
committed
for
to
the right
Right,
of
every citizen to vote.
Thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you, Linda,
Thank
for
you.
reminding us of the importance of the work that we do and formally installing our board of directors. We move to, are you ready? Door prize number 6. Door prize number 6, you can see it right here, is a card game entitled Great Women, Poets, and Writers. This biographical card game goes to Carolyn Darcy. And we move on now to item number 15, recommendations to the new board. Members are asked to share ideas and suggestions for the new board of directors to consider for the 23-24 year. This is the time in our meeting where we ask you to give us recommendations. This is your opportunity to guide the work of the League of Women Voters Eden area by telling us what are the important issues in your community and your neighborhood. Your input will enable us to align our work with our membership's needs. There are many important challenges facing our nation, and we want to know what you're looking for our league, from our league. Please raise your hand by clicking on the reactions icon at the bottom of the screen and then click on raise hand to be recognized. We have allocated this time, 10 minutes, to hear what work you, our valued members, want us to prioritize over the upcoming year. So please tell us what you think is important for us to look for. Linda.
Yes, good morning. Well, as we move into the 2024 elections, I'm sure that you'll be prioritizing the propositions and the voter registration and candidate forums as we move forward, because it will be an important election year for all of us.
Terrific. Thank you, Linda. And I should mention to everybody, since California has moved their primary up, do you all know that our primary is March? That means that there is going to be a lot of work happening in January and February. Julie, welcome. I see your hand up.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So one thing I've discovered with my kids that's really important is education on sources of information, where youth are getting their information. And I mean, as a league, I'm not sure how we play a role in that, except when we're doing youth outreach, that perhaps there's some education involved on, multiple sourcing information they're looking for. Since so much of what they get is online on TikTok, and they're really gaslit on TikTok. I'm watching it. Just to try to help them decipher the noise out there and, the false information.
Thank you, Julie. I wrote that down, and I do know that we will publicize. The Alameda League has an online game that helps students do that. So I will make sure that we put that, Helen and I highlight that in our next voter. That would be great. Thank you. Other ideas of the things that you want to see happening in 23-24? Linda.
I apologize.
That's
I
okay.
just, when Julie mentioned that, I wanted to go back to, I know the league tried with the American Association of University Women to really expand our online presence and, to take advantage of TikTok and Instagram and some of those others that reach a wider audience than just Facebook, because I do know that it can be used for good. It is they are powerful platforms for getting the word out. So I'm going to continue to try and take advantage of those opportunities.
So expand our online presence. I think that's something that we can do. And we also, the website that we're working with now has many options to assist us in that once we learn how to use it. which is the challenge. I know for me, I'm just going to add that I want to keep a pulse on the Roe v. Wade conversation that happens across the nation. As the mother of 3 daughters and 5 granddaughters, it's important to me to make sure that our league is providing current information. Linda, are you looking for ways for us to work with the chamber?
You know what, having my finger in this group and that group, looking for partnerships, think ways that we can work with the other local organizations. Many of them are nonpartisan and I have to say, with the chamber, I want to see us do some events around women empowerment. Something that I don't know that we've done, but there's lots of other women's groups that I would like to partnership to put on events. So yes, I would like to see us partner with other local organizations, and then just be intentional. We have a lot on our plate. I mean, when you read the list, Joe, I was excited about the opportunities. But yes, we are registering people to vote, but we also are looking for members, people that will want to be involved. And then the last thing I'll just say is that when I came to the league, it was 2016. I wonder why. And I wanted to make a difference. It was a huge election year. We have another big election year coming up. And I feel that there are probably lots of people out there that are looking for a way to be involved politically, and we should take advantage of that.
Thank you, Linda. That was not a paid commercial advertisement. I didn't have to give her M&Ms or anything, but we do need to increase our membership, and we do need to look for ways to work within our community, increase our brand. So thank you, Linda. Pat, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I just, I know from working with other women's groups that if we want to attract new members, we need to invite our friends. And I think that one opportunity is that we could have a meet and greet social to allow prospective members to mingle with the board and members, and just an opportunity to get to know us. So it's one thing to have a tabling event at a festival. It's another thing to get people to actually sign up and join us.
Thank you, Pat. I think one of the things that I've discovered during my last few years as president is the misconception out there of what the League of Women Voters does and what we stand for, what our mission is, what our values are. Frankly, I think they think we're a bunch of old women that make them vote. And that isn't it at all. So I'm always happy to take an opportunity. I will mention Marion had an opportunity come up where we got to speak to the hard board. Sarah was there as they honored March's Women's Month, and our league had an opportunity to participate and present a little bit of history of the women's movement. So other comments, other questions? Sarah.
Thank you. So I'll echo the partnership and both member engagement and member recruitment items. And then I'll add, of course, continuing engagement with redistricting. There's two bills moving their way through. They've made it out of the Assembly and then making their way through the Senate. And so I anticipate there will be some advocacy because unfortunately, one of them made it all the way through the process in 2019, only to be vetoed by the governor. So it's something we'll stay engaged in, and it is a priority bill for the California League this year. Thanks.
Thank you, Sarah. So you're suggesting legislative advocacy as a possibility for 23-24. And I have noted that. I continue to look for questions, concerns too. Okay, well, we haven't used our whole 10 minutes. You have a minute left. Anybody? Okay, well, I think I have written down to focus on the propositions in the candidates forum, especially with the March primary, to see if we can work on how to define credible sources of information, expand our online presence, to continue to monitor changes on Roe v. Wade. We're looking for partnerships, other organizations, associations, chambers that we can engage with. We need to increase our membership. We need to ask people to join us. And we can do that by perhaps having social events where they meet us. Personally, I'm told often that I intimidate people, so that may not be the best. I may not come to the social events. But we will, we have that on our list. And then it's also been suggested that we look to increase our legislative advocacy in 23-24. Anything else? Well, that's a very full plate. So we have another door prize. I'm going to share the screen here so that you can see what I'm talking about. Our next door prize is the Clara Barton book over here on this side. And most people have heard of Clara Barton and her founding of the American Red Cross. But Clara was also an influential and outspoken suffragist that I think that you will discover in the story in prize number 7, Clara Barton and the American Red Cross. So this book goes to participant number 16, and I'm going to count 16, so you all have to wait while I do that. Sorry. I meant to do it earlier. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Mary Ellen, you get the book on Clara Barton. All righty. So we are expecting our supervisor to attend any moment. And we will go ahead and do our introduction to the speaker. Iowa.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. I was looking for the unmute button. Elisa Marquez was unanimously appointed by the Alameda County Board of Supervisors on April 4th, 2023, to represent the community of Hayward, Union City, Newark, and a portion of Fremont. Elisa is thrilled and honored to serve in this new and exciting role. A lifelong District 2 resident, raised in South Hayward, Elisa is a proud daughter and a granddaughter of an immigrant parent and maternal grandparents who instilled a strong work ethic that she brings to her public service work every day. She received her entire education via local public schools, graduating from Hayward High Schools in 1996, earning her BA from Cal State Hayward in 2001, and a master's degree in public administration from Cal State East Bay in 2012. In 2014, Elisa was appointed to the Hayward City Council. Well, she successfully ran for election in 2016 and was the top voter getter in her 2020 re-election. Elisa is committed to uplifting all residents, listening and collaborating to help all local communities thrive and working to ensure economic mobility for all. The League of Women Voters Eden area thanks her for sharing her journey and vision with us.
Welcome, Elisa. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
So I have your PowerPoint. Would you like me to share it? I see you have staff here. What's the logistics?
I think they may have logged off already, letting them have some balance in their life and enjoying their weekends. So you can put the PowerPoint up, but I think I'm mainly going to just speak in terms of my own kind of timeline and just, want to have more of a dialogue in this interaction. So we will definitely refer to the PowerPoint, but the bulk of my presentation is just going to be sharing information. But if you could please pull it up, that would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I apologize. I couldn't figure out how to take the banner off. I managed to do it on the other things that I shared, but I didn't succeed here. So just let me know when you want me to change the screen.
Okay, thank you so much. So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be with all of you this morning. Thank you to the League of Women Voters President, as well as all of the leadership. I've had the honor of knowing many of you for a long time and really value and appreciate all of the great work you do for our community in terms of educational forums. I often go back and watch some of the YouTube presentations when you've had forums on ballot issues and candidates. I think it's really important to inform the public on issues that are important to everyone. So thank you so much for that active role that you play in our community. Here on the first screen, there's some images that are near and dear to my heart. The first one is Mia's Dream Come True and Playground. This was a partnership between District 2, the city of Hayward, and HARD. And then you will also see at the bottom left, Newark Public Library, Veterans Memorial Park in Union City, and then Patterson Historic Home in Fremont. So these images represent the cities that District 2 covers. We did go through redistricting, so District 2 has changed. It now consists of all of Hayward, Union City, Newark, and about eight neighborhoods in Fremont, and those neighborhoods are Ardenwood, Birds and Lakes, Niles east of Mission, as well as Warm Springs, and some other neighborhoods throughout Fremont. I apologize, but my dog is in the other room and getting antsy, so I'm trying to block out that distraction. And it's a busy Saturday here at the house, so I have to keep the dog inside because they're about to come and do my yard work. So I'll do our best to keep him quiet. But just wanted to let everybody know the makeup of District 2. Also wanted to acknowledge that I am serving in this role because of a huge loss. I know many of you are aware that Supervisor Richard Valle had this seat for a long time, and unfortunately he did pass away in February, which led to the appointment process to fill the vacancy. Richard was a champion in our community for environmental issues, social justice issues, and empowering and investing in young people. And those are many of the same values that I hold near and dear to my heart. So I have big shoes to fill, and I'm very supportive of many of the initiatives that he brought to the district, but also want to build upon that. And the reason why I applied is because of my experience on the Hayward City Council. I do see two of my former colleagues here, former council member Sarah Lamnin, who's now on HARD, as well as current council member Julie Roche. And through that work in the city of Hayward is really what prepared me to apply for this opportunity. It was competitive, it was challenging, it was probably one of the toughest decisions that I ever made in my life to pursue it, because we don't know what the outcome would have been. All I had control over is to be prepared and present my desire to work hard on behalf of District 2. So luckily the process worked out. It was challenging, but I'm very honored to be serving in this capacity. It hasn't been quite 2 months yet. So in the last months, I have been focused on meeting with all department heads, meeting with electeds in each city and staff, just to get up to speed on what are the issues that are most important to them. But before we get into that, you can go to the next slide. Just give you a little bit more of my background. So I am a lifelong resident of District 2. I actually am living in the same home that I grew up in, just turned 45 last month. So deeply rooted in this community. Specifically, it is South Hayward. The zip code is 94544, which has many challenges in terms of socioeconomic challenges, educational challenges, just a very challenging community in terms of in the past having lack of resources. So as a council member, I worked really hard with my colleagues to invest in South Hayward and bring more opportunities to South Hayward. So Mia's Dream Park is just one example. The Stack Center off of Roos Road is another one. Improving infrastructure, lighting, dealing with illegal dumping, just all of those areas to improve life in the neighborhoods in South Hayward. As was mentioned earlier, I'm locally educated, went through many public schools in Hayward, got my BA, then it was Cal State Hayward in sociology, returned to get my master's in public administration, and have always worked hard in my family's business. They've had it for 58 years in downtown Hayward. That's Los Compadres. So just having that reference point of what it's like to be from an immigrant family, and just really the challenges of trying to make ends meet, trying to be an entrepreneur and successful in a new community, really having that work ethic and that understanding of what it takes to leverage resources, ask for help and be innovative has helped shaped many of the views that I have. I've always been really involved with local nonprofits. As a teenager, I helped work at La Familia Counseling Service, also volunteered at many nonprofits. And one thing about my past is my sophomore year in high school, I helped organize a walkout. And the request was to diversify our workforce within the school district, learn more about different cultures and ethnicities and religious groups, just wanted to have more of an education with regard to ethnic studies. And as a result of that walkout, we were successful in getting the Puente program. It was fast-tracked and brought into our high schools a couple years earlier. And at that time, I wasn't sure if I was going to go to college, didn't really have a plan for my future. And the Puente counselor called me into the office and asked, he told me he had asked around and wanted to know who the young leaders were in the campus, and my name was given. And because I was a senior, I couldn't benefit from the Puente program. It was targeted for freshman students. But he said he wanted to start a Puente club and he wanted me to be the president. And my first response was, I will be the vice president, but not the president. So I just give you that example because historically, I've always kind of led in that way. Being the District 2 representative, I do have to be front and center, but I do feel like my biggest strength is working in partnership with different stakeholders, bringing groups together and really figuring out the best path forward. So I just give that example to just demonstrate kind of my views and leadership. I also feel strongly that you have to be prepared for opportunities. And so prior to even joining the city council, I had over 10 years of experience on boards and commissions. Can you guys hear that noise in the back? If it's loud, I might have to relocate. Is it pretty loud? Can you hear it? No? Okay. They're using the lawnmower like right behind this window. So I wasn't sure if it was being picked up on the microphone, but I had served on various boards and commissions, Human Services Commission, Planning Commission, and Sustainability Committee before deciding to apply for a vacancy in 2014 on the Hayward City Council when Barbara Holliday was elected as mayor. And I served on the council for nearly 9 years. Some of the biggest accomplishments that I'm proud of that we accomplished as a team on the council is our leadership with COVID-19. I'm sure many of you know that we were one of the first cities to launch a test site. We were able to launch a food distribution program, a moratorium on evictions for rental units as well as commercial units. We got a COVID hotline up really quickly within days. And then we were also able to issue grants for $500 for anyone that didn't qualify for unemployment benefits. So I did feel through that experience, the city of Hayward was so responsive. We kind of became a mini county because the county is responsible for providing the safety net services. But through that experience, I was able to see what a city could do when you work in partnership and you leverage resources and you just are nimble and responsive. So that was a huge eye opener in terms of the potential, what else can be done countywide. We also were very successful in affordable housing goals. We reduced our unsheltered population by 22%. And that was really by opening a navigation center, offering shallow rent subsidies, improving affordable housing projects, increasing the funding to our Affordable Housing Trust, and really just coming together with community partners to address the issue. So those are the things that kind of led my desire to want to pursue this on a county perspective. So on this slide here, you'll see the areas that are represented by District 2. And you can go to the next slide. But before you go to the next slide, you could go back one more. I just wanted to share it. I thought it was pretty funny to do this selfie photo. This is obviously a lot of people like to take selfies now, but I was told this is the first time we did a selfie in the county chambers. This is in downtown Oakland. But the funny thing about this picture is, to this day, I have not seen the actual picture of the selfie. This is a picture of me taking the selfie, but the photo itself, I don't know whose phone, that's not my phone that I'm holding. So I just want to share that because you could see the smiles, the joy, people in the background. But what I feel that I've been really good at, and what I learned through the appointment process, is really bringing various groups together, even groups that might not necessarily always agree on issues. But I think when you just demonstrate your care, attention, and commitment to improving outcomes for the community, my experience has been that most people are willing to get behind you and support you with those efforts. And all of those people behind me in this photo are really a testament of how I was able to be selected to fill this vacancy, because it truly was the community that came together, that spoke in public comments. They wrote letters on my behalf, and I did my part. It was a small part, but truly I feel it was the mobilization, the outreach, and the community coming together to say that they truly wanted a representative that was from the community, that knows the issues, that is willing to do the work. I am the type of leader that if I don't know the answer, I will do my best to go get it. I want to make informed, smart decisions, do my homework, and I never overpromise. If there's something I can do that's reasonable, I will say it. But as an elected, you often get asked to do many, many things that might not necessarily be in your purview, may not be realistic. And I think it's really important to just be upfront and honest with people. And that also means in terms of timelines, like there's a lot of priorities, there's a lot of urgency, but you have to just be very upfront with folks with what you can and cannot work on, what is the estimate timeline, and closing the loop with individuals as well. So those are some of the experiences and takeaways that I learned as a council member, and just really excited to bring those skills and translate that over to the county. So you could go to the next slide. And this is Exhibit A, because I just wanted to demonstrate that I've been working hard my entire life. I mentioned my family's business earlier. If you look closely, I'm sitting on a box of Miller Lite, I believe it is. There's napkins behind me. And if we had a full picture, this is like our inventory room, and there's lots of sodas and boxes and stacks of rice and beans. And I would sleep on the rice and beans. And I would play on these boxes. That was my play structure. To the left is it's me washing dishes. I have an adult size apron on. It's folded many times to fit me properly. I'm standing on a chair, and I remember all of these interactions because as a young child growing up in a family business, I just wanted to emulate what my family members were doing. So I just share this as a visual of being young and not knowing what's in store for your future, but the core of my value and the way I've always operated is to work hard. And so this is a couple examples of that. And I like to tell people that I have dry hands and calluses to prove that I've been also working with my hands and not just my brain my entire life. So next slide. And then before we get into this, I just wanted to share, as I mentioned, I'm learning a lot about the county. So for those of you that don't know, the population is approximately 1.7 million. When we did redistricting, that allowed about 350,000 constituents per district. And the operating budget is $3.8 billion. We are going through the budget process right now. Our goal is to adopt it by the end of the month. And the county administrator is not proposing, but has informed us that we have a budget deficit of $54 million, which just, it sounds shocking and is a huge number. But last year, the deficit was projected at $49 million. And through various cost savings and county departments coming together to figure out how to meet that deficit, they were able to adopt a balanced budget. So I'm still learning about the budget process, and my priorities is making sure that we are maximizing dollars. About 20% of our budget is in social services. Another, I think it's 25% is for social services, and then 25% under public protection. So it's really neat to see that the bulk of our funding is really allocated towards the safety net services, which is the core function of the county. So under health services, you have the public health department, you have healthcare services, environmental services, and these are the services that are responsible for ensuring that we addressed COVID. What's very excited about our public health department is we have a vaccination rate of over 85% of all residents within the county have been vaccinated. We're also working on adding violence prevention as a public policy issue, and we're going to be rolling out programming to address that. Unfortunately, Alameda County does have a really high rate of homicides and just issues with crime. So that is now going to be targeted as a public health priority, and we're going to be rolling out programs to address those issues. So that's just framework. When I'm looking at the budget, just want to make sure that we're maximizing dollars and making sure that we're helping as many people as possible. The county is also working on streamlining programs so we can get to more people quickly and efficiently. They've done kiosks throughout the county so people can enroll for public benefits. A couple of weeks ago, I did a community swearing in event, and we had social services there tabling. And they informed me that 6 people applied for Medi-Cal there at the event. And that's something I'm really proud about. My goal is to get this information out to the public. The 6 people that applied, I'm certain that more people stop by and ask questions. Some people may be timid to apply on the spot, but just the fact that we're bringing that information and resources to the community, I'm hoping that we can get more people enrolled in accessing CalFresh, public benefits, anything that the county is providing. I'm going to be working hard through my monthly newsletter and community engagements and letting the people know what services are available to them. My committee assignments here, I am the chair of public protection. We oversee and make recommendations pertaining to public safety, interact with policies that oversee Santa Rita Jail, and reducing recidivism. So this is an area that Supervisor Vaya was committed to, and he spent a lot of money in making sure that we can support the reentry population, provide them with job opportunities, reduce the number of people that are incarcerated. And so right now, through public protection, we're going to be examining different policies and looking at data and how we could reduce those numbers, get more behavioral health services within Santa Rita, and also looking at maximizing behavioral health services. And I did take a tour of Santa Rita Jail, and I was really impressed to see that there's a pilot program right now where the deputy sheriffs are actually interviewing every person that has been incarcerated and asking them what services they need, whether it's employment, enrolling them into Medi-Cal benefits, housing issues, therapy, just really trying to figure out how can we address the person's needs holistically and start engaging them in supportive services. So that way, before they are released, they're connected to services in the community. We also have strong partnerships with La Familia and Roots Community Health Center. They're on site at Santa Rita to start helping individuals connect to services once they're released. So through my work on this committee, I also want to work closely with the public defender, the DA's office, and probation to make sure that we're connecting individuals to services. So this is a committee that meets monthly. We often have joint meetings with the health committee as well. And so this is a priority for District 2 to track these issues. And I'm really excited that we have a new sheriff, Yesenia Sanchez, who just gave us her update. And she's also committed to reducing the number of individuals incarcerated and connecting them to services and trying to prevent these issues from taking place that get them in, that cause them to be incarcerated. The other committee that I serve on is the Procurement and Contracting Committee. We review all procurement and contracting policies. We are committed to working with small and emerging businesses. So we often get updates to see how many businesses are actually entering into contract, how many dollars are being allocated to these small businesses. We're also reviewing PLA agreements with the A1 housing bond. We have been very effective in meeting the objectives that were outlined under that measure. The ad hoc committee for reparations has not started. We're actually in the process of appointing individuals to serve on that committee, but some work that is aligned with this is also right now identifying the framework for this committee to see how we're going to roll it out. The goal is hopefully in the fall, we'll start meeting, but this is really going to be an opportunity for individuals that have been impacted by systemic racial injustice issues will lead these discussions. And as a county, we'll have to figure out what is the framework, what is the goal to meet those past practices. And Association of Bay Area and Local Government Executive Committee make operating decisions on the 9 Bay Area counties. Right now, we're going to be looking at a regional housing bond that's going to be put on the ballot in November of 24. So the county will also be working closely with ABAG to roll out that information throughout the cities and identify how we plan to allocate those dollars. Stop Waste, I'm the alternate to that. And a chair of East Bay Community Energy. We are the energy provider for all the cities in Alameda County, except for the city of Alameda, including Tracy, and we'll be expanding to Stockton and San Joaquin County. We've been very successful in getting more people in green jobs, providing opportunities for low-income residents. We've been doing some rebates in our energy program. And right now we're going to be adopting our budget in this upcoming month. And there is going to be more emphasis in doing community grants. Community energy has also been instrumental in being out in the community at community events. So people are aware of the resources available. There's a lot of money going into infrastructure for EV charging stations and really just trying to reduce our dependency on fossil fuels. Next slide, please. And we could actually, if you don't mind, we could stop in between and maybe after each slide, if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Okay, we could do that. So let me see. Are there any questions for the supervisor up to this point? I'm looking for hands. Okay. This gives you a chance to get a drink of water too.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty. I'm going to go back then to the PowerPoint.
Okay.
Okay. What did I do? There we go. Okay. We're back.
Okay, so just kind of general priorities of District 2 are listening to the needs and concerns and priorities of District 2 and Alameda County residents, businesses, and all stakeholders in a democratic process, leading up to the appointment process. And just my experience on Hayward City Council, what I learned that is extremely important is that there's not a one-size-fits-all approach. Really have to be mindful of the nuances and the demographics and the needs of each community to determine what makes the most sense for that specific community. So I want to bring that same kind of mindset to District 2. That's going to be tricky, right? Because we make county-wide decisions, but we have to do our best to pull in and making sure that we're addressing the individual concerns of each city. Engaging is really just being active and accessible. since I was appointed, I would say I've only had a day and a half off. I've been working 12 to 14-hour days because there's so many different community events going on, nonprofit events, just opportunities to engage with the community. So right now I'm committed to engaging in all of those opportunities to get up to speed. I acknowledge that that's not sustainable long-term, but for now, I do feel strongly that I need to do this to catch up, so to speak, to really learn about the issues. I mentioned earlier some of the legacy projects by Supervisor Vaya. The District 2 office, I'm committed to seeing those through, and those include Niles Canyon Stroll and Roll, which will take place later this year in September. Science in the Park is every other year, so that's going to be at Cal State Hayward next October, and completing the Haystack Center off of Tennyson Road. And one of the biggest priorities is keeping St. Rose Hospital open. This past week, the Board of Supervisors did have a retreat, team building, and kind of initiative setting. And I did indicate that St. Rose is my biggest priority for District 2. There is some financial concerns and the long-term sustainability of St. Rose. So for me, it is a huge priority that we continue to have healthcare access in District 2. So my goal is to work in partnership with state legislators. I know that St. Rose has applied for funding, a loan through distressed hospitals. I will be submitting a letter to the Board of Supervisors requesting funding support. St. Rose is working diligently to provide additional services. They're working on remodeling a third floor to bring subacute care to the hospital, working on improving the number of deliveries at the hospital. There's some infrastructure projects. There's projects to seismically retrofit the building, which has to be done by 2030. And for me, I do feel strongly that although this is in District 2, this is a countywide issue. If St. Rose Hospital were to close, this would negatively impact the surrounding hospitals. And we just can't afford to have people with heart attacks, any kind of serious medical issue, have any delay in care. So right now, the future and sustainability of St. Rose is my biggest priority. And championing sustainable and affordable developments, green our communities, decrease our climate impact, create affordable housing, and expand living wage jobs. So these are the areas that I'm going to be focusing on when we look at budget decisions as well. And it's really important that I maintain a good relationship with all of my colleagues on the Board of Supervisors, because we really have to work together to adopt these areas and initiatives. What has been a shift for me is the fact that there's 5 of us. In order to not violate Brown Act, I can only speak to 1 supervisor. So that is, something that I just have to be very mindful of in any of these initiatives that I'm particularly interested in. And because St. Rose falls under the purview of the the health committee, I have to be very strategic about who's the one person I'm going to interact with to help move this initiative forward and secure the funding that they need. So those are just some of the kind of early lessons in navigating the county and advocating for the needs of District 2. Is there any questions about this slide?
I'm guessing there's probably some way I can look at the participant list and see if there's hands up, but I'm just not that good at it. So sorry, Supervisor.
I could look. I could do that. Don't worry.
Okay, I do see a hand up. Pat, do you have a question?
Yeah. Elisa, thank you for coming today, and congratulations on being appointed as a new Board of Supervisor.
Thank you.
I manage public outreach, and I would just like to plan ahead and know what our top activities going on, say, in the next 3 to 6 months. And if we could communicate offline, I would like to just know where our activities that we should be present at, and things that you obviously have a very busy calendar, if you're working 14-hour days. But if we would like to be out in the community to educate citizens and also recruit new members.
Yes, yes. So I would definitely encourage you to sign up for my newsletter, to follow me on social media, very active on Instagram and Facebook. Really what my my team has been posting is more of the community outreach and gatherings. But what I told them is we need to transition into more policy and keeping the public apprised of what the meetings are, topics that are going to be discussed. So that's something we'll be rolling out in the next couple of weeks. In my short experience, I'm also finding that we can be more efficient as a county. I don't see a way for individuals to sign up to be noticed when an agenda is published. It's typically up to an individual to go and research the website. So I find that that's problematic. So that's something that I want to work on, is improving that efficiency. In chairing the public protection meeting a couple weeks ago, there was a list of questions that came up during that meeting that staff just wasn't prepared to answer at the time. So I did make a commitment that we would note down the questions, get them to the specific departments, and by the next committee meeting, have a response. However, being new in the seat, I have to figure out and work with county council procedurally how to do that. Because it could be an informational item, I could potentially read it into the record, but those are just some of the areas that I'm seeing gaps in and ways to improve. So the first 2 months, it's really just learning about the county, but also trying to figure out how can I make things more transparent, more effective, and how can we get information to the public in a way that's more streamlined? Because right now it doesn't seem like it's that easy to get this information. So hopefully in the next couple months, we'll see improvements in that area. That's something that I'm definitely committed to, and is just, like I mentioned, an early observation. I feel like we could do a better job at that.
Thank you. Don't see any other questions. Are you ready to go back to the PowerPoint?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. This is a challenge for some.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
All right, next slide.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
did
just
that.
to the left, sure, but just to the left, the photo, this was, I think, day 2 or 3 on the job. And it was, we toured a boxing ring at Sunset High School, which our Deputy Sheriff's Activities League does a lot of amazing free programming in unincorporated parts of the county. So I'm there with Sheriff Yesenia and staff from District 4. That day, I also got to tour Dig Deep Farms, which is, out of all the things that I've learned with the county, really, really impressed with their food hubs. We're one of the first counties in the state of California to actually leverage a partnership with Medi-Cal to get organic vegetables covered under prescription and delivered to individuals' homes. And that programming also includes support groups, learning how to cook with the healthy food and just learning to be more active and focus on well-being. So those are just some of the things that I feel like are impressive and exciting that the county is doing, but we got to do a better job at sharing that information and letting the public know the good work we're doing. So again, through newsletter and social media, we plan to roll out that great information in the upcoming weeks. And also supporting the food hubs is a major priority as well for District 2. And we will be expanding food hubs. We're in the process of, we secured some farmland at the Masonic Homes off of Mission. And we're also going to be bringing a food hub to a fire station at Newark that is no longer in operation. So really important to get food out into the community and just have that circular economy. It's been a major employer for people that are system impacted, and we'll continue to move in those initiatives as well to keep people in the county, keep them housed, keep them employed, and do our best to maintain a healthy well-being for them. Next slide.
I had the opportunity to drive over Fairmont yesterday. The line for the
Oh, for the
farm
food
was
distribution.
extensive. So I know
Yeah.
people are using the resource.
Absolutely. And one of the other major initiatives, for those of you that aren't familiar, District 2 was instrumental in expanding Raising Leaders, which is a program that Davida Scott founded and is in partnership with the Hayward Adult School. And the nice thing about that program is the first money that she ever received to provide internships to youth was through the city of Hayward, through our maintenance department. And through that work, it's been able to expand to the county. And that's something that I'm committed to, because this is truly giving young people an opportunity to be mentored, to learn about different career paths and help guide them to make, better decisions in their life. The efforts of that program is really led, for those of you that don't know Davida Scott, she's extremely passionate. And really the reason why she's so committed to this is because she's lost so many young people to violence or suicide. So this is District 2's priority, to invest in these young people to minimize that negative impact and loss. So we'll continue to work closely with Raising Leaders as well. Here is just some county resources. I'm just gonna, I guess we could do some exchange here in information, and I'm just curious if anyone knows how many departments the county oversees. You could put it in the chat, or you could unmute. Just kind of want to have a little interaction here and see how many departments people think that are under the purview of the
I
county.
believe it's 32. I'm thinking 32.
Yeah, with the special districts and everything, I think might be like 25, but I'll double check. But it's expansive. So some of those listed here: the auditor, the controller, fire department, library, social services, the sheriff's department, public works, and basically the county is responsible for land use decisions in all the unincorporated part of the county. And so as you can imagine, learning all these different departments and divisions and responsibilities has taken some time, but through the budget process, I'm really excited to learn more of what we do. But it's impressive to see the amount of employees. It's over 10,000 employees, and just the operation. It's been a huge eye opener. Go ahead and go to the next slide. This is an activity that I mentioned earlier that was started by Supervisor Via and Scott Haggerty. This is a save the date for Niles Stroll and Roll, September 23rd, and they close the highway and allow people to come on their bikes, walk, jog. It's just a really great community event. And the whole goal of this is to advocate. We want a safe trail on the side of this road, since there has been deaths from bicyclists. So this is another priority for District 2. The goal is to get a Class 1 trail along the canyon. This will require a significant amount of funding. So this is another project where it may take quite some time to secure the funding, but it's definitely staying on the list and will continue to be a priority for District 2. I think with many of these initiatives, it's important to look at short, mid, and long term. What are the low-hanging fruits? What can we get to immediately, and identify funding sources? And then there's other projects that are going to take longer to figure out how we can actually implement them. Next slide.
Whoops. There we go.
So that is an overview of the last 2 months. I'm happy to come back in the future once things are a little bit more firmed up, but it's just what I've experienced so far. It has been a huge eye opener to see the level of responsibility the county has. Definitely a huge honor to learn from all the individuals that have been doing this work for so long, and the importance of building strong relationships and having an amazing workforce that has been extremely dedicated. Coming into this with such a huge loss in Supervisor Via in transitioning out of the pandemic, you know, people are fatigued, people are very, very overwhelmed. So just trying to figure out the capacity and how we can continue to address the needs of the county, the marginalized communities, and best serve them in the most efficient way. So that's what I'm dedicated to doing with my team. I am very fortunate that all of Supervisor Baez's prior staff continues to work with me, and they are doing their best to bring me up to speed. There's a lot to learn, but they've been excellent partners and just really helping me streamline my workload and focus on the issues that are most pressing. I think that the biggest challenge for me in transitioning into this role is there are so many critical issues happening. So just trying to figure out where do we focus our time and energy. And the way that I've been approaching it is, as I mentioned, St. Rose Hospital, safety of our children and seniors. Those are the things that rise to the top in terms of trying to minimize any further impacts or harm. So I will continue to keep an open mind and be accessible and do my best to make good decisions for our district and represent their needs. So again, there's ways to contact me on social media, the district office, sign up for the newsletter, and also encourage individuals, if you're interested to sit on county boards and commissions, please reach out to our office. We are recruiting right now, and happy to answer any questions and partner with you moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm looking for hands raised. Are there questions for the supervisor? Okay. Well, thank you very much. You're
Thank you.
very busy, and we appreciate you taking time to join us today.
Thank you
We'll
so
be
much.
delivering a unique thank you gift to
Oh,
your
thank you.
office. It is a Susan B. Anthony pendant.
Oh,
I'll
beautiful.
show you a picture. Here you go.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank
That
you.
you will be able to wear in honor of another woman who did so much for others. Thank you very much for joining us today and recognizing
all.
the League of Women Voters as an important part of your community.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
We move on to item 19, which is what you're all looking forward to, adjournment. Thank you all very much for joining us today. The League of Women Voters Eden area is made up of your strengths and passion, and we can appreciate what you contribute. An additional thank you to those of you who served on the board of directors this term. We want to recognize and also especially thank those of you who will be transitioning off the board for your commitment and passion. Thank you, April Chan and Mimi Dean. A special acknowledgement is necessary here for Penny Peck, who served on this board for the last 10 years, including the office of president. Penny, I have this journal to give to you, to the League. It says, "What would Ida B. Wells do?" I thought of you when I saw this. I'm excited to welcome the 23-24 Board of Directors of your League. They will take office immediately following this meeting. We are adjourned. Thank you all. I want to end with my shirt so you can see I have my League shirt on. I'm going to end the recording now.